Hey there, this is Mobile Agent TV, helping agents stay on the cutting edge from coast to coast.
Welcome to Mobile Agent TV. I am Michael Thorne of Remax Little Oak Realty in Langley, BC, and my co-host, as always, is Dave Falkware from Bridgewater, New Jersey's Remax Preferred Professionals in the Enviro Realty team. Dave, in one word, describe how amazing your seats were at last night's Mets game.
Best.
I saw the Facebook post there. You're talking row 1, seat 1 and 2 in the owner's box, hanging out with Mr. Gutenberg of Police Academy Fame, and who, Dwight Gooden too as well?
Doc Gooden, yep. He was down there. I put a picture up on Facebook. It was all, it's a crazy karma thing. We went last night to get sold some tickets. I've been a season ticket holder forever, and this past couple of years, because they really sucked, I wasn't going to do it anymore, and we got talked into it last night, and so we're back, watching games. But I warned the guys, if I buy these tickets, you're going to start losing again. And sure enough, they lost last night. So I don't know. We're going to see what's going to happen here. But it was fun. Last night was a blast. It was a blast.
Yeah. During the broadcast, you can interact with us live on Twitter using the hashtag MATVLive, as well as I've installed the Q&A feature on the blog, so you can just ask your questions right there on the blog. Vote them up, vote them down. Let us know what you want us to ask of today's guests. We're actually covering more topics than I thought we originally would when we booked the show, just because some things have happened. But before we get into today's show, Dave, I got a bomb video from Don Lee this morning, and he's been binge watching episodes of Mobile Agent TV. Here we are in episode 85, and we've been doing this now for just over 2 years. Dave, he wanted to know, out of all the things we discussed, what are the 5 things that they should be doing right now? And 5 might be a little much to break off. And really, my word of advice to Don or for anyone else is something that we've been hearing quite a bit, is don't choose the technology. Choose what the problem is in your real estate business and choose the technology that solves that problem. So don't just go to the piece of technology. So I really think it's important to become larger than the real estate transaction, to blog, and that's what we're going to be talking about primarily today. And whether that's in the written form because you're good at writing, or whether that's in the video form because you're good at video, I think you really should be putting out content that adds value. The other thing, Dave, and I'm going to ask you what you think too as well about all the topics we've covered, but I think it's imperative in today's marketplace that you embrace some sense of paperless. Not just for paperless sake, but my goodness, it has freed up a lot of time in our business, and it's put really great systems in place. Really embrace some form of paperless. It's something that you will be doing in the next couple of years. Dave, out of the things that we've been talking about, what's another one do you think that an agent in 2015, out of all the topics we've covered, is really, really important that you embrace?
Well, you know what's kind of funny you should bring this up, because I'm walking earlier with the dog, and I'm just thinking through I was just thinking about all of the things that we've talked about here and what I'm doing and kind of the direction I see a lot of stuff going. And, I mean, the number one thing is treat it like a business. I mean, and if you're asking, instead of just, I'm just showing pretty houses, run your business like a business. But I think it's real important with all the technology and all the paperless and all the video and all the things that you do and what Jeremy does and everybody else, especially with video, because it's very time-consuming. The thing that I sort of came up with, because I'm sort of looking at myself, is you have to do what you're really passionate about when it comes to these technologies. You have to really like it. I particularly don't like doing all the video and the editing. I like doing some of it, but I like people, and I think you just need to, with all of the stuff going on, everything, no matter what it is that we've talked about here, or all the things you get thrown at you, or all of the bells and whistles and the shiny objects, you have to embrace what you really are passionate about, because if you don't, I think you're going to burn out and you're going to get lost, because you can get lost, man, right now with all of the stuff that's coming at real estate agents and all the change. So, I mean, that's sort of my take on it. Do what you really enjoy doing in your business, and don't forget the people. Don't forget this is a people business. Don't sit, in my opinion, don't sit in front of your computer 12 hours a day and play around. Get out there and talk to people, shake their hands, kind of go back to your roots. That's because that's where I come from.
Yeah, no, I agree, Dave, and I think one of the things we hear quite often is, the concern about where their next deal's coming from. I truly believe that your next deal is the deal that's right in front of you. Like, I know that sounds weird, but if you take unbelievable care of the client that's right at your table at that moment, they will take care of your future business for you, and you don't have to worry about tomorrow. I mean, it's always this, how do you take care of your current clients and also prospect at the same time? Well, I think they're one and the same. I think taking unreal care of your current clients is the best prospecting you'll ever do, and like you say, treat it like a business. So, Don, I don't know if that answers your questions, but, play to your strengths, like Dave said. Do what you're good at and what you're passionate about, because you'll do better at it and you'll do more of it. And I think video blogging of some kind, or blogging in general, is really, really important. Becoming larger than the real estate transaction and embracing some form of paperless is really important. I think those things you'll end up doing anyway. Just want to let everyone who's a member of Remax Play, I know a lot of the viewers of the show aren't Remax agents, but Remax Play, the Facebook group, has really taken off a life of its own. We have our first live event coming, online live event coming on May 11th, and it's all things real estate video, as well as we released Remax Play t-shirts. And we sold a lot of those Remax Play t-shirts, Dave, and I'll be making another donation today to the Motorcycle for Miracles charity that Bruce Johnson and Holly and Mary Johnson and Alyssa Ray Johnson fund. I'll be making another donation for them on behalf of Mobile Agent TV today. So thank you all that support Children's Miracle Network. Yeah, thumbs up there, Jeremy. Exactly. So I want to introduce today's guest. We've got a lot of topics to get to. I'm actually going to throw more topics on him than we thought. He is Jeremy Blanton, and you can get Jeremy on Twitter at Jeremy Blanton. And as always, we read out our guest 160 Twitter bio. It reads Myrtle Beach Realtor, founder of 210 Consulting at 210consulting.com, father of 3, dog lover, and professional Army golfer. I have no idea what that means. Welcome to the show, Jeremy, all the way from North Carolina. I'm joking. South Carolina. Hey, Jeremy.
So, I guess I should start with what is a professional Army golfer. I am horrible, okay? I love to go out and golf, and here in Myrtle Beach, we have enough golf courses. There's like 150 of them, okay? They're all over the place. But a professional Army golfer is the guy who gets on the tee, hits his first shot, shanks the thing left, goes to the next one right. I go left, right, left, right, left, right, all the way to the hole. I am the president of the Army Golfer Club.
Now I know. Appreciate that, man.
Just for the record, I'm saving golf till I get old.
Smart play, Dave. Smart play.
Fishing.
I found whenever I need a piece of humble pie, just head out to the links, play 5 holes, and I'm good to go.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to get into it. We could take shots at golfing all day. All right, let's start out with the first topic before we get into the 5 types of content that you should be creating to put money in your pocket. That's today's topic. The 5 types of content you should be creating to put money in your pocket. But before we get to that, Jeremy, I'm not saying it flew underneath the radar, because I think people that were aware of it, and the people that just don't have a clue what we're talking about passed it by, and it's come and gone. And that is Google's Mobilegeddon that took place on April 21st. You and I actually had a private hangout, and we sort of talked about it. You quickly looked at my website. I know I'm in a world of trouble, but I don't think it's a bad thing, because I think it breeds opportunity for those people that are ready to push forward and make the changes. They'll take advantage of the people that don't. Really let our viewers know what Mobilegeddon is and what the impact it has for the real estate agent out there.
So, like you said, on the 21st, and Google warned us a couple weeks beforehand that this big change was coming. And what they were going to do is, if your website is out there and is not mobile friendly, they were going to basically penalize you, and you're going to start to drop way out of the rankings. The terms that they used was, they called it a significant impact, okay? When Google says it's going to have a significant impact on search results, you better listen, you better wake up, and you better pay attention. And so basically what they're starting to do right now is they're going through all of the domains, all the websites that are out there, and testing to see if your site is mobile friendly or if it is not. If it comes, and there's a URL out there. If you want to know, shoot me a tweet, and I'll get it for you later. That walks you through and tests to see if your site is mobile friendly or not. And so when we had that private hangout, in a matter of 30 seconds, I knew you're in a world of trouble. But like you said, I think it's a good thing in the long run, especially in our real estate industry. And going back to something Dave mentioned a couple minutes ago, I always say it like this to agents. Listen, you need to think of your real estate business as a small business owner, not an employee of a company. Too many of us think that we're an employee of Remax or some other brand out there, and that their job as the brand and the boss is to supply us with everything we need. But think of it more like a small business. If you're the owner of a local pizzeria or local dry cleaners or florists or any business, you're going to have some sort of website to represent your business for those clients that come online. So I think we all need to take that mentality into our business of we are small business owners. So back to the Mobilegeddon. If your site is not mobile friendly, it's going to make a really huge change in where it results. And the reason Google's doing this is mobile phones are becoming more and more out there. Okay, I used to work for T-Mobile back it's about 6 years now, and that was when the first smartphones were just starting to come out. In fact, the first Android launched 2 weeks before I started there. It was T-Mobile had the G1, it was called. Okay, it was a big clunky thing, and you flipped it open, and it had a touch screen, and everybody's like, "Wow, this new technology, this is amazing." It was horrible. You got like 3 hours of battery life out of it, and if you opened it up, you got an hour. But they're now to the point where if you go into any cell phone store to find just a non-smartphone, there's like usually one, okay? Where before it was everything was non except for one or two, and it was either you bought a Crackberry or you bought this Android thing that was brand new. So everything is reversed. Over half of all the people in America have a smartphone now, according to Google. And more people are doing their searches from Google or just anywhere on a mobile device. A lot of my clients that have websites, I in addition to like you said in my description, I own 210consulting.com. We build custom WordPress sites, do consulting, teaching that stuff, in addition to doing real estate. And over half of the clients that I have there, I go and look at their Google Analytics on almost every one. Doesn't matter if they have 100 visitors a month or they have 50,000 visitors a month. About 40% of their traffic now is coming from a mobile device. So it's really important to have that mobile-friendly version of your site that when I open up my phone and I go to your site, I'm not having to sit here and pinch and zoom and squeeze and scroll left to right and do all that junk. It makes a really bad experience. Now, taking this a step further with Mobilegeddon and the mobile experience that you give to a consumer, the consumer doesn't need just your site to just shrink down to fit all in one screen. Okay? Let's think about this a minute. If I'm out and about driving around town, okay, and I'm looking at houses as a buyer, and I find a house and it's got your sign in front of it, and I type in your web address, what do I want to do at that point? I want to either search homes, or I want to call you to get more information on that property, right? So we don't need to have the blog on your mobile version of your site. I don't need to see what's my home worth, how's the market doing, and all of those features that on a desktop are important to have. We need to simplify it. Here's to search homes, here's my contact information, and call it a day. Too many websites that get in the mobile version have way too many things going on in it.
And so, I mean, a lot of things can be done to take your current website. We spend a lot of time building our website. You don't need a new website that can be basically converted to a mobile friendly. But here's the thing: is if you don't convert mobile friendly, and your competitor does and will, it's going to affect you. And every new website built from now on out will be mobile friendly because that's just what these developers are going to do. You must go test your website. If it's not mobile friendly, you're going to have to make changes because it's going to impact your business dramatically and in search results. And as we know, Google is Google, and you need to be there. You need to be able to be found.
And Michael and Jeremy, there's a newsletter we get from International online, and this very subject was in there a month ago, and 2 days ago, same subject. And there's a link. The link you talk about to test your site is in there. You can just go and you can put your URL in and it tests your site to see if you're mobile friendly. I think it's a Google tool. I'm not really sure, but something very accurate. And secondly, all the Reliance sites, those of you who use Remax Reliance sites, those things have all been done for you, so that's done. It's not even an issue. You don't need to worry about it. It's more, I think, and Jeremy will bear this out, is if you're using some one-off kind of somebody, you made it, you created it yourself, you had some guy put your website together, but if you're using one of the major ones that we all seem to use, I think that they have already solved that problem. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there are. It depends on basically what it comes down to is when was your site built. And so like when Michael and I were having our conversation the other day, he said, Jeremy, my site was built, what was it, a year and a half ago or so? A year and a half, 2 years ago was right as this big transition was starting to happen. And at that point, the developers were saying, we can do it, but it's going to cost you extra, okay, to do that. And so a lot of people said, well, right now it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to spend the extra money, and we'll just stay with it. Now, in WordPress, which is what a lot of people are starting to use now for their sites, it switched about a year and a half ago with a lot of the themes that you have, that they now have what's called the responsive. What a responsive theme is that when you pull the site up, it doesn't matter if I pull it up on this 27-inch iMac I'm on today, or I pull it up on the 11-inch iPad or my phone, it's going to resize, shift everything, have it to where it's readable, easy to see, where you don't have to zoom out to make the text bigger, zoom in to see it all together. And so as that change has happened, like Michael was saying, nowadays most new things are going to automatically have it in. It's just included as part of the process. The older people, though, that have that site that might be a year or two older, heaven forbid you've had your site up for 4 or 5 years, it's time. It is time. Like I said, this is your business. You need to put into your business plan, new website, ASAP, spend a couple $1,000, get a new site done, have it done right, get the parts and components that consumers want today. Because here's the thing, like Michael said, if you don't do it, your competitors will. And and I mentioned Google saying significant impact, and this came to mind. I remember a few years ago, JCPenney was a great company site, #1 in Google search results for anything and everything out there. And at that time, Google was checking on to see why is it that this company is ranking #1 for blinds, for watches, for men's shoes, everything you think of, they're showing up in the top results. And they found that they were scamming and doing some things. And so Google said, well, we're going to make a significant change here to affect the way that they're ranking. All of a sudden, JCPenney went from #1 to number 89 and 90 in the results. You're 6-7 pages into the results, you're not going to get any business from your site, plain and simple.
Absolutely. So let's jump on to the next topic before we get into the top 5. Something that I haven't had a chance to read the article yet. Quickly saw you posted on Socialites this morning, Remax Socialites Facebook group, Jeremy. Something that either is going to annoy a lot of people or make people dance for joy. It makes me dance for joy, just based on the title and some of the feedback that I saw you and Val and a couple others write in there, Katie Lance. Facebook is really going to crack down on personal pages. You've read the article. Give us a synopsis of the announcement from Facebook. Yeah,
so my good buddy Mike Mueller, he's in San Francisco. Great guy, loves to ride bikes and hockey. I mean, does it get any better? He likes bikes, hockey, and beer. I mean, he's kind of got it all going on. But anyway, he's really, really knowledgeable on Facebook. And he was sharing that Facebook's starting to crack down on people using personal profiles without their real name. Now, not their real name, so some people they're going, okay, well, mine is Jeremy Blanton, Realtor in Myrtle Beach, so I'm using my real name in there, no big deal. The Jeremy Blanton part is great, that's what it should be, but it shouldn't say Realtor, or Bob Sells Tampa, or Jeremy Blanton sells MyrtleBeach.com. It should just be first name, last name, Blanton. And so they're going through profiles, and they're cracking down. And if you have one of those things with Realtor on it, or sells this, or your area, or any of the things, they're going to shut your profile down, and you're not going to have much say. It's just going to go poof, okay? And unless you have that secret bat phone number to Zuckerberg, you're not going to be able to call him and say, hey, you made a mistake, and fix it. I've never found a phone number for Facebook. The only thing I've heard, the only way you ever get somebody to actually call you is to set up a marketing budget there. That's about $10,000 a month, and then you'll get somebody from Facebook to actually speak with you on the phone.
Yeah, you want the number we have it here at Mobile Agent TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
wired
That's
everywhere.
close. But Jeremy, there's difference between. Don't want to confuse people. Your custom URL and
Right?
your name can be different. So you can have that in your custom URL. You could have Jeremy Blanton Remax in there, but you can't have Jeremy Blanton Remax as your name or Jeremy Remax Blanton. I see it all the time. There are thousands of people that could have their personal profile just up and disappear on them. Go ahead and change that. They're going to crack down. They're serious too. This is not. I mean, we've heard warning shots before from Facebook, but this is serious this time, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And here's the thing. Your personal profile, and man, I'm going to try not to get on my soapbox here. I will try to stay off of it. But here's the deal. Social media is just that. Social first. Be yourself. Be human. Be a person. And we'll talk about this more when we get into contents. But stop trying to sell. I don't need your name to be Jeremy Blanton Realtor. All you do is you become across as the cheesy salesman at the car lot that the minute you go to step out of the car and you put your first foot down, hi, looking to buy a car today? You're at a great place here at the Toyota dealership. We'd love to find you a great price today, and we can get you out of here in no time. You can drive today. Listen, I don't need that person. I don't get on Facebook for that. I get on to interact with friends. And so if that's the way your username is, or your actually not your username, but your profile name, change it. Go to settings. You'll see it says first and last name. Take the realtor out. Take the sells this area. Take the area you live. Get rid of it all and just make it one. Now here's another one that I'm going to be interested to see, and we'll play this out and see. What about the people that are Mary and John Johnson, where it's two people sharing a profile? What are they going to do with those? We'll have to watch and see.
Yeah, it'd be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, on that note, let's get into the meat of today's topic. We're going to talk about creating content, which is so vital. So, simple question to start off the conversation, Jeremy. Why blog?
Why blog? Well, first off, it's awesome. It's going to bring you great results. But I know people are like, yeah, whatever, I hate doing it. So let me give you some stats, okay? I'm a stat kind of guy. I like to have something to back me up. And there was a study that was done a few years ago by a company called HubSpot. They do a lot of online marketing, great company, really smart people. And they went out and interviewed about 1,700 to 1,800 small businesses and just businesses in general. And they asked them, they said, do you blog, yes or no? And found then asked them some more questions and surveyed to find these results. They said businesses that blog on a regular basis receive 55% more online visitors to their site than those who don't. Okay? I could stop right there, walk away, and that should be enough of a reason to do it, right? But let me give you some more. They also say that businesses who blog receive 97% more links back to their site, okay? They also said that businesses who blog get 434% more index pages in the search results, okay? So when you take those last two and put them together, what that means is businesses who blog have a much higher chance of showing up higher in the ranking, okay? So when somebody goes to Google and search, and I know we've all heard, Google is dead, search engine optimization is dead, you just need to get on Facebook, you just need to have a Pinterest page, and you need to get on Instagram, and if you Instagram your heart out, you will sell lots of real estate. Here's the deal. We don't own Instagram. Our last name's not Zuckerberg. We don't own Twitter. We're not that Pinteresting to own that company, okay? So at any point in time, like we just discussed, they could come in and shut us off. And if you have your whole business set up and built around that social network and something happens, or, Zuckerberg tomorrow could just say, listen, I'm tired of dealing with this thing. It's a lot of work. I've made my millions and billions. I'm going to go retire now and just sit on the beach and do nothing for the rest of my life. He's got his money and he shuts it off. What do you do then? So you need to have a home base that you own and control, okay? So you own and control that, put your stuff there. Also, at the same time, those who say search engine optimization is dead, I will fight you to the death on it. I look at my site, I look at many of my clients' sites, because they say, Jeremy, we want you to just look at our analytics, tell us what's going on, what we should do. And as I look at these things, I see, on average, almost every single one, 70 to 79% of their traffic still comes from the search engines, okay? People going out there and saying homes for sale in this neighborhood, homes for sale in this city, beach condos in this area. One of my clients, she's a RE/MAX agent in Gainesville, Florida. She ranks so well for gated home communities in Gainesville, Florida. She takes the top 3 spots from that, okay? That has made her have the best years of her business since she's gotten there. She's had custom home builders come to her and say, we want you to take our whole development in this gated community because you rank best for it. She's getting whole communities from it, okay? So those who say search engine's dead, don't believe the hype, please.
On that note, the other obstacle I get asked all the time, and blogging has different forms. We do much more video blogging. That's what Mobile Agent TV basically is. It's a video blog. Is you know, I don't have the time for it. It doesn't fit in my schedule. Here's what Dave said at the beginning of the show about treating it like a business. I see blogging versus open houses, for an example. Open houses are, to me, a transactional mindset when it comes to doing business. You're hoping that day a buyer comes through that either wants to buy that particular home or needs an agent to help them buy another home. And once that open house is finished and closed and you've picked up the signs around the neighborhood, there's no more business coming from that open house. If you put that energy from that one open house into writing blog posts, you don't know the long tail lifespan of a blog post lasts a lot more than just the 4 hours of an open house. I get business from blogs or from videos that I put out years and years and years ago. So I don't think the issue is where do I find the time. I think the issue for some people is auditing the time that they have. And now, I don't know what it's like in other parts of the country. Open houses aren't really popular where we are, and so in a 4-hour period we'll have 3 or 4 people come through. That's a perfect opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Sit in an open house and write your blog posts like a crazy man and get them both done. But once again, one's a very transactional attitude, and one's saying I'm willing to put in a lot of work over a long period of time to get tons of benefits. So talk about the mindset maybe before we get into the 5, Jeremy, about what it takes to create consistent content and maybe the value of the long-term tail that blogging will give you.
Well, you know, it's funny you said open houses. I use a different example. I say think of it like postcard mailings, okay? And here's the reason I say that. Why do we farm? Why do we sit there and send those cards out? We're hoping that one person that picks up that card looks at it long enough as they're walking in the house to get all the information before they get in and stick it in the trash can. I mean, I don't know about you. I have a trash can in my garage. Usually the junk mail goes in before I even get into the house. Whereas when you're doing a blog, what do they say? They say 89% of all consumers now go online before ever contacting an agent, right? So when you're getting ready to buy that house or sell your house, you're not going to look at that postcard per se. You're going to go online and search for things, okay? So think of it that way as, hey, instead of sitting here and trying to farm this neighborhood over and over and over and over and over and become the expert, write a blog post. It has a much longer shelf life than that 3 seconds to the trash can does, as it stays out there forever, number one. Number two, you don't have to spend the fortune on postage, okay? Now, don't get me wrong, I still do the old school. I send postcards. I send letters out to people all the time. I think you need to give a balance of both so that when they get that postcard and then they go to the computer, they're finding you in both spaces. They're like, wow, this guy knows this neighborhood. He's the guy I got to have. I need him now. Hire him. Let's go. Let's get started with it. You know, I always tell people this. Blogging needs to become part of your prospecting time each day. Okay? We should have our schedule blocked out. And so, you know, we may say, okay, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, prospecting time is from 8 in the morning to 11 o'clock. I'm going to take 45 minutes of each of those days instead of sitting there and putting stamps on, you know, postcards or licking the envelopes closed and all that. And I'm going to take 45 minutes. I'm going to try to write 2 or 3 posts. Now, with a blog, most companies now and most services that have the blog have the ability to schedule out your posts. WordPress definitely does. So I always tell people this. Listen, you're planning to go on vacation. You still need to have that consistency of content going out. Write the stuff beforehand. Schedule it so you don't have to sit there while you're in Hawaii trying to enjoy the beach and sit there and say, sorry, I can't go down to the beach right now, kids. I got a blog for the day. Write the stuff out, schedule it to go out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you're done. You don't even have to be there. You take 30 seconds, since your site's not going to be mobile friendly, pull it up on your phone while you're sitting on the beach, hit the tweet button, send it out to Twitter. Hit the share button, send it to Facebook. Pin it, do whatever right from your phone in 30 seconds and go back to enjoying your vacation. Or, a lot of people say, I'm too busy selling real estate. Well, Jeremy, I still have to sell real estate. I don't have time to sit and do this all day long. Okay, great. Then here's what you do. Go to Fiverr, find somebody who will transcribe for you, take out your phone, go to the voice recorder section, tell the blog, speak it out, send the note to them, and you'll find somebody who for $5 will transcribe up to 12 minutes of audio. You can have them transcribe the whole thing out, take it, copy, paste it into a blog post, publish, you're done in 5 minutes. It's not hard. I think where people get concerned is they don't know what to talk about. They think it's stupid and don't want to, and they get themselves so overwhelmed. It's kind of like with video. When we started on video, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. No, you just need to jump in and do it. Listen, I got a face for radio, not for video. If I can do it and get 2 million views, you can too. Same thing with blogging. English was my worst subject in school, okay? But I have been published in blogs everywhere. National Association of Realtors, you name it, we've been there. I've had Rubbermaid contact me because they found a blog post I once did. Okay? All it was a list of utilities. They said, obviously, you're an expert in helping people move and relocate, so we would like to interview you for our website and how our totes could help somebody move. Would you like that? I said, are you going to call me? Make sure you mention I'm a Myrtle Beach realtor. They said, yes, sir. Let's do it. I was the blogger for my local newspaper on real estate items for a while. It's really that easy to have success with it. But they just don't know what to say and where to go.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to tell you, the top 5. But Dave, do you have that obstacle? I certainly do. And that's a really good idea to I think orally, like I can talk, as you guys know. I don't stop talking. But I'm not a written guy. But to take the audio notes, send it off to Fiverr, which I'm a big fan of. I love Fiverr, and have them transcribe it. I think there's a lot of value in that. You a handy writer or Vanessa handy writer, Dave?
Vanessa is.
Yeah.
Like I said in the beginning, I'm sort of pick and choose my my means of running my business, and we have a blog, but I have some emerge post stuff to it, and I know that everybody's that's a waste of time and blah blah blah. But you know what? I don't do the blog to get business. I not at all. I'm not interested in it. I have a very thriving business, and I do it a different way. Not that there's anything wrong with blogging. You want to blog, go ahead and blog, but it's not for me. And that's what I said in the beginning. Pick what you want to do, pick what you like, and go out and do that to build your business. And my business is, it's almost like we're working 7 days a week.
Yeah, but Dave, I think here's the thing too as well, and we're going to get into it. I've been teasing this out, these five takeaways, these 5 topics. I think people get confused of what blogging is, and I know we've discussed this on the show before, Dave. Your video about the gated community that has been super successful for you, that's a blog, that video.
Well, that's my form of blogging, right?
Exactly.
And I have some community pages on Facebook, which I post to all the time. That's its own form of blogging, and that I like doing because I'm putting up stuff that's real easy to do. I understand Facebook. It's not overwhelming. Because I guarantee you, there's tons of agents out there, tons of them, that watch the show that go like, another damn thing I'm supposed to be doing. Yep. And they get all and they never grab one of them and do it because they're like a video. I got to do a paperless. I got to do this. How can I handle all this and still service my clients? And I know that they're doing it. And it can be a challenge. So just pick what you love to do. And my blogging is community pages and the video tours that we have up on our websites, and we're getting tons of business from it.
Yeah. So Dave needs to figure out how to cut his grass.
Jeremy, so really, touch on this real quick. Dave does a video walking through the community, not a particular home, does a video. This is what it's like to live here. Here's the type of homes. That's a form of blogging. My North Langley, our community Facebook page. That's blogging, and then the traditional photo with a 4-paragraph write-up that covers a topic and answers a question. That's blogging. Are those all one and the same? Do they differ a whole lot? Just talk about how we sort of pigeonhole what blogging is, because for such a long time it has been a web blog.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, that's posting content, but here's the issue that I run into with that. No matter how much the stuff you guys share on Facebook pages is wonderful, we don't own it, number one. Number two, if I want to search homes there, it's virtually impossible to do that inside Facebook. They have apps that come out, but they break a lot of times. They don't always do the things you need to do. So here's what I suggest to do. Instead of taking that content and sharing it, if we're going to take the time to type it up or put the video and do those things, take it, stick it into your blog on your website, and share that link. Drive the people back to your home base that you own and control. Because if tomorrow, I've seen sites shut down for the dumbest of things. You know, somebody could watch this broadcast today and say, you know what, I didn't like that Jeremy wore a shirt for a conference that's no longer available. By the way, I miss RE Tech South. It was great. You know, they may get mad at that and complain. They send out an issue to Facebook. They tell 5 of their friends to do it. Tomorrow we go to log in, and all of a sudden, poof, Mobile Agent TV is gone. And we're like, what happened? But if we have the people trained of going to your website to see what's happening, they're going to go back there. You know, I saw a Facebook group that had 42,000 people, and they made a mistake. We're using the word realtor incorrectly, and they were shut off. But, you know, go back to Dave's point 1 second. You know, I mentioned he needs to learn how to cut his grass. I used this analogy at R4, and I think you were still in there, Mike. I don't know. It was at the end of my presentation about cutting the grass. Here's the deal. There are so many different things out there right now to do in social media. There's all these networks. There's so many things out there. But at the end of the day, we need to find what works best for us. If we live in a home that has acreage, you need to cut your grass. You're not going to get out there with the push mower and try to manually push, right? You're going to have a riding lawnmower that does it. You might live in a condo complex because you don't want to deal with grass at all, and so you have a landscape service that comes in and does it. But if at the same time you live in a patio home, you're not going to try to pull a riding lawnmower out there to do it. It's not going to work well. Find the tools that work best in your business, which Dave obviously has, and do them. My father, he was not tech savvy at all. He never in his life, I would never get him to blog, Facebook, or anything. But he did this amazing thing, which I don't know if people realize anymore. This actually makes phone calls. You can like talk to people through it, and he could do that really well. And so he would get on the phone and call people and talk to them, and had tremendous success. So find the things. But those of you who are trying to figure out what to do, where to get started, what's going to be the best, I always tell my clients this. Listen, start with your blog, create your home base, get your foundation together, put that in place, and then take that and put it out to all the different places from there, driving everybody back to the place where they can search homes, they can find out what their home's worth, how's the market doing, they can contact you, they can read testimonials, they can watch videos, everything all in one spot together. That's my opinion as to what I think is best. Is there other options out there? Definitely. You know, the one problem that I have when you're doing automated content from like the company that Dave mentioned a moment ago, or a lot of people right now, it's very popular to grab the feed from Keeping Current Matters. They have awesome content that they share. But here's the thing. If that's what you're constantly pushing, there's other thousands of agents using the same stuff. Nothing to differentiate you in the search engines. So if 5 other agents in your town are using it, how does Google say, hey, you know what? Dave should be ranked higher because he put it out? There is no way. They can tell that it's not unique content to yourself. Another option, Dave, that you might want to look at is go to the local college and find somebody who's an English student and say, hey, we want to have some local stuff. And we'll talk about this a little more in a bit. We want local things, and it's going to bring you better results than sharing the generic, here's what's happening on a national level. Sorry, I'm done now. Shut up.
No. I think it's great because truly the blogging could be hired out, sort of freelance stuff that you host. I think it's advanced. So let's get into it. The 5 types of content you should be blogging about, and when I read this list, these could all be video blogs. Dave, you want to say something?
Yeah. Just to make sure I have this right. All the stuff we're talking about, all of it, it's all designed. Tell me if I'm wrong here. To drive traffic to your website. Is that not correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on. I just want to make sure I got that right.
Yeah. I think if you picture your website as the hub, and all the other Facebook as the spokes, that all goes back to the foundation of that wheel, and that wheel is that hub, and that's where it all comes together. I
call it your mousetrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
To be clear for everybody else, I sort of knew that, but let's just make sure. Let's keep it simple.
So number 1, the things you should be blogging about: personal stories about experiences in real estate. Go ahead, Jeremy. Tell me why this type of content is so important.
I think this is some of the things we're going to talk about are kind of informative. Some of them are fun. This one definitely falls in the fun category. So I would share, we as agents, we run into crazy things all the time, right? We have people who, you'll never guess what happened this time, right? So I try to share some of those experiences to make me seem a little bit more human. So, for example, one of the things, I wrote a post once, it was called Rub-a-Dub-Dub, Mr. Seller's in the Tub. And so I start the post, and I'm talking about why it's important that we as realtors, when we're out showing property, that we make sure to announce that we're entering the home, even if it looks like it's vacant, okay? Hello, we're the realtors. And I shared this story about how I was out with these clients once. My father and I were actually showing together. It was a family, and we got to the door and like, do you have to scream and do all that every time? Yes, you never know what we might walk in on. So we go to one of our listings that we had at the time, open the door, we go in, we start showing them the living. Oh, this is wonderful. We go out into the sunroom on the back of the house and look out over the lake, and wow, this is so great and beautiful. We go and check out the awesome gourmet kitchen and the laundry room and the two-car garage. Start going down the other wing of the house towards the bedrooms. We show them the first two. Great. We go to the master bedroom, show them how wonderful and spacious it is. And as we're starting to walk into the master bath, my father stops right before he opens the door, turns back towards the people and says, now wait until you see this master bath. It has a huge garden tub. You could do laps in it. And as you open the door, straight in front of you, okay, it's not like it's to the side, and right in front of you sits the garden tub. And in the garden tub is Mr. Seller, who was in his mid to late 60s, leaning back. Hey, Dennis, how you doing? Come on in. Now, on his arm over here was a 20-something-year-old brunette. On his arm over here was a 20-something-year-old blonde. And they were just having a big old time in there. And so I used it as a funny story. Now, when you're doing these types of things, you don't want to do it right after it happens, and you don't want to use sellers' names or buyers' names, but share those things. I also wrote one once about and I titled it, sometimes I make my titles a little bit edgy just to capture people's attention. It was called Don't Get Your Panties in a Wad Over Granny's Rocking Chair, okay? And this was about the importance of when you're selling a furnished property, make sure you take anything that you're wanting to keep out before we start showing the property. And it was about an oceanfront condo that we had. It was a $400,000 condo. We told the people, listen, we've had buyers who have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this building for something to open up. We're going to show it to them tomorrow. So anything that you want, take it home with you today, because we're more than likely going to bring you an offer tomorrow. So the next day comes, we go show the property to our buyers. They love it, fall in love with it. This is exactly what we've been looking for. We write up a full offer, cash, close 2 weeks. You know, put in there all furniture, fixtures, and everything as seen on this date. Call the sellers up. Guess what? We got your full price offer. Want to close in 2 weeks. Congratulations. Like, okay, we'll send us over the stuff. And they start to read through it all, and they go, oh, but there's one small problem. I said, okay. Out on the balcony was a white wicker chair that belonged to Granny. And Granny used to just sit out there and rock and look at the waves. And they have such fond memories of Granny sitting on her white wicker rocker chair doing it. So that can't convey. So we call the buyer and say, listen, they're okay with everything except for the white wicker chair. We're keeping that. And they said, no, you told us it was furnished. What we see is what we get. He said, well, we did, and we told them to take it out. Sorry. No, we want it. Sellers, no, we're not getting rid of it. We step in, and Michael, you may not know what this is, but Dave, you should. We said, we'll go to the Cracker Barrel, okay? You know what a Cracker Barrel is?
Yep.
I don't know what it is.
It's a country store down here, and they have rocking chairs out on the front that you can buy. We said, we'll go down to the Cracker Barrel. We'll buy 2 of them and stick them out on the patio for you. Just let them take it. No. It's a matter of principle. And they dug their heels in, and that was it. It was over. They lost that deal. The sellers let them go. We said, listen, the market is showing the signs that it's going to be changing here. We don't know what's happening. You may not want to we got to keep it. So the deal falls apart. Well, we then held on to that, and the market flipped here in Myrtle Beach. They ended up holding that property for another year and a half. The price went from $400,000 down to $225. At the same time, they continued to pay the mortgage, all the utilities, and an HOA fee that was $1,700 per month during that time. So that article was all about the importance of, if you're selling a place furnished, get everything out that doesn't belong. So those things are great things. They bring information, but also are usually done in a fun way.
So is that the goal of sharing personal experiences? To let them, educate them on the things that can happen, to let them know that you've seen it all, to let them know that you're a professional, to show a little humor? Like, what is it? All those things sort of wrapped up in one?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way of doing it is giving information in a fun, entertaining type of way to the people. People will read that stuff. They will share it out, and they will comment on it.
And without a doubt, Dave, every real estate agent that's been in the business for longer than 10 years can write a book upon retirement. I mean, the stories that you have, Dave, or
stories were Tom that he just told. All I can tell you stories.
Yeah,
well,
that's my point. That's my point.
I used to tell people,
we've all seen it.
I used to tell people I was going to run a special marketing campaign, and it was called "We're Granola Experts." If you're a fruit nut or flake, come work with us. We have great experience working with you.
Okay. And how did that go over?
Well, we didn't quite run it.
They didn't do that.
All right. So number two is something that I think Tony Joe's always told me about. You know, the value of just answering the question, "How's the market? How's the market? How's the market?" It's a question we get asked whether you're buying a home right now, or you own a home, or you're planning to own a home 2 years from now. If you can answer the question, "How's the market?" in a very local and direct way, it will benefit you. Tony Joe's a great person that blogs regularly on this topic. But number two is market reports.
Yeah, these are the boring ones, okay? They're stat driven.
Boring for us, though, right, Jeremy? Boring for us.
Boring for us to write, yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is how you make it easier and not so boring. Okay, we go on a listing appointment. When you go on a listing appointment, what do? You pull all of the current actives, everything that's sold in X number of days. You go in, you sit down with that seller face to face, and you give them a market report update of where things are today, right? When you get done, go back to your office, whip out the laptop or the iPad, whatever, and take what you just shared, quick regurgitate it out in 10 minutes into a post, and hit submit. It's very, very informative to people who want to know that information. I do it for neighborhood levels. I do it for areas and city levels at times. Okay, they bring in great value. Not to mention, at the same time, they can be very rich in SEO-rich content to help you rank well in the search engines.
So on that, and I've asked this question to a lot of people because we do monthly video update, market updates. Trish does them, and I do them too as well. What are those 2 or 3 points in a market update that you find really resonates with a potential consumer? What do they want to know? Number of sales, price increase, days on market. What are the sort of things that really resonate with a potential client?
Well, they want to know, first off, what's the competition? So I think it's important to say to them, hey, there's 32 other homes in your neighborhood currently for sale. So if you're wanting to, and when they see that, if it's 2, then you can be a little bit more liberal on your price maybe. If there's 30, you're going to have to be the best priced one in there or have some sort of feature or upgrade in your house that sets you way apart from everyone else, okay? So I think that's number one. Number two, they want to know, okay, how fast are these homes selling? So are they selling quickly? What's the average days on the market? And when you can go in and say, listen, homes that were priced in this range, average days on the market was 52 days, but homes that were priced in this range, that was 180. Oh, well, I better make sure, because if they're thinking, okay, if their house is really worth 200, but they say, well, we want to try 225 to start, you can say to them, well, listen, average says here 182 days at 225 and up. Under 200, 199.9. So remember, we want to get your home sold so that you can get up there to see that grandbaby. Let's go at this price, and they'll jump in. So in your market reports, share that information. How many have sold? How many are on the market? What's the average price of sold? And, I usually, what I do is I'll say, this was the most expensive one, this was the least. Here's the average, here's the median.
And Dave, when you've done market reports or whatnot, what do you think those real nuggets of information, maybe not directly for the seller, but just for general market updates, what do you think that those tangible takeaways are, those 1 or 2 pieces of info that a potential consumer can really bite into?
I think it's definitely price, whether the prices are going up or they're going down. Yeah. Historically, from that, I mean, that's the key. They want to know. It's always about money. It's always about the price. Days on market is certainly important. You have to educate them about that. But all they really, really put their heads around, in my opinion, is, did I buy it for 200 or can I sell it for 250?
And so, do you normally then compare it to the same month the year before and go year over year?
Yeah, there's actually charts in our MLS that it just makes you just take the old comps, you take it and you do it in the price range, and it's like a 2-minute thing.
Yeah.
And it shows you, compares, a year ago till now, month to month. There's actually a lot of other resources.
It's down here, Dave.
And so
I'm not moving now.
saying,
You guys are too slow for me. I need to be up here where people are moving.
but I mean, what a great takeaway that Jeremy said. Look, you've done all the research anyway. You put all that information together. You sat down with Mr. Seller. I mean, adding blog posts is just to write it out. It's so smart. I've never even thought about it because so one day you're doing a townhouse evaluation, next day you're doing a condo, next day you're doing an acreage. Just turn those into blog posts and say, here in this area of Langley, here's what these types of homes are selling for right now. You've already done the research. It's super smart, something I've never thought about before. There's my takeaway for sure. Number 3. Here we go. I love this. This is my bread and butter. This is I just think becoming larger than the real estate traction. This is the one for me. Post about specific neighborhoods, great for long-tail SEO, and that sort of stuff. But talk about becoming the expert in your neighborhood and the value. You've done this, Jeremy. Dave, you're working on this for sure. I know that you're doing this too, and it's a no-brainer for me. Becoming the mayor of your neighborhood through blogging.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal with this. In the States here, we have Zillow, or Zulia, I guess we'll just call it now, to compete with in Realtor.com. You cannot compete with them on big, specific areas or city levels. We can't. We can't as the little guy. But what we can do is we can bring the local expert information at neighborhood levels on types of properties, small, specific niche markets, or niche. I don't know which one you prefer, niche or niche today.
I don't know.
We won't get into that debate. Squirrel. Anyway, so we need to pick those things. Here's the deal. When people are starting their search, and think of it like this, Michael. I tell you today, it's 70 degrees here in Myrtle Beach. It's sunny. It's gorgeous weather. The beach is starting to warm up. We can go next week probably to it. And so you say to the family, hey, you know what? I was talking with my buddy Jeremy. I think we should move to Myrtle Beach, right? So you go tonight, sit down at your computer. You start to do your search, right? You're going to search Myrtle Beach homes, Myrtle Beach real estate, what you're going to type in. Because you've never been here. You don't know the areas, right? But after you come and visit a couple times, you're going to say, you know what? We don't want to be up in the north end. It's too congested. We don't want to get down to the southern end. There's too much craziness down there. We want to kind of stay in the center, but we want to go just west a little bit where it's lower taxes, less insurance, all that kind of stuff. So that area is called Carolina Forest. It's about a 5-mile radius area, about 35 or 40 neighborhood subdivisions, okay? Subdivisions. So when you go back home, you're no longer searching homes for sale in Myrtle Beach, right? You're now going to search homes for sale in Carolina Forest. So you've started to specify in what you're looking for. You come back again to the beach, we go out, you look at some properties, you do all this stuff, right? As you begin to do that, you say, you know what? I love this neighborhood called Waterbridge, and I love this other one called Plantation Lakes. No longer are you searching Carolina Forest. You're down now to subdivisions, right? So if I'm the person who's that local expert at that level, I'm going to rank number 1 because it's easier to get to the top than the bigger terms, number 1. Number 2, you're now much more serious because this has been a 9-month process to get down to that spot. So when you're calling me now, the calls that I get are not, well, we're thinking about moving to Myrtle Beach, and well, we're just starting. We're going to be retiring in a year or 2. Never been there, but our friends say it's nice, so we're thinking about planning a vacation this month or later in July. But we'll be able to go look at properties on these days as long as it's not raining. But it will have to be after our tea time at 3 o'clock. And but if it rains, we'll get together earlier during the day. And you're dealing with all this nonsense. Instead, and with those people, by the way, on average, they're 12 to 15 months out for making a decision to buy or sell. So I have to put these people in my pipeline, drip campaign them, call them, follow up, all this stuff for 12 to 15 months. Versus the people who are in that specific, the long tail, more specific things, homes for sale in Waterbridge in Carolina Forest, they call me on the phone. Hey, Jeremy, we've been following your blog for a while. And that's something else I should say. When you're blogging, don't get frustrated because you don't get comments, okay? Consumers aren't going to comment. A lot of people get this false hope that if they're on a network like Active Rain, where you get 30, 40 comments because people get points for it, that when they go out to a WordPress site or a Blogger site, they get, no, this isn't working. Consumers are stalking you. They follow you 6-9 months without even making contact. But when they are, the call is going to be, hey, Jeremy, we're coming down next weekend. We'd like to see these 3 homes in Waterbridge. Our home's already sold up here. It's closing in 2 weeks. We need to find a place to get relocated in the next month to 45 days. So instead of spending 12 to 15 months, I'm spending 2 to 3, okay? Now, a lot of people say, well, Jeremy, there's not many leads. There's not that many things that happen. Correct, it's not. But here's the deal. If 10 homes sell in Waterbridge this year, and I'm the person who's the expert on it, I'm going to get probably at least 4 of those. I can do that over a couple neighborhoods, do that over 4 neighborhoods. That's 16 more sales. That's a lot of business. Plus, here's the other side to that. Not only are buyers going online, sellers are too. I had a client did her blog, set up. She wrote her first blog post ever. Okay, and I said, just start with your neighborhood, write a market report, or write something about what's happening in your neighborhood. She does this, sends it out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 3:30, her phone rings. It's a guy who lives down the street from her, doesn't know her. Says, I was just on the internet searching. You popped up #1 with your blog post for this neighborhood, and so I was wondering. I'm thinking about selling my house. Could you come out tomorrow or come out tonight and look at it? She said, sure. I mean, she's freaked out by this call, so she goes over there at 4:30 now. Okay, so it's 2.5 hours later. Gets a $400,000 listing in an area where her average price point's $150. Gets a listing in less than 4 hours after writing her first post ever because she did it. The sellers want to work with the expert who knows their neighborhood, who talks about it. I have some listings coming up because of a video I did and stuck out there about a specific neighborhood. So huge. There's just this massive, huge potential there that you can't even think of. Remember, go back to the postcard mailing thought. Okay? Postcard mailing, you're sending it to a neighborhood to get business, right? Blogging about a neighborhood, same concept.
Yeah, I think it's really that big fish, small pond. Like, go after the small pond. I think Nobu Hata, when we had him on, it's a great quote. I saw him in Vancouver say, give your clients something they can't Google, and that's really what you're giving them. You're giving them this local elementary school provides this type of education. That's stuff that Trillia, Zillow, whatever they're called, will never ever provide, nor could they ever provide. Dave, you're like that too. I mean, no one knows your little niche neighborhoods better than you. Nobody. And that's the real advantage, and that's what people want to find is that long tail, hyper-local experience and knowledge.
Vanessa just made a sale. We got a call last Thursday from some guy. He calls her, he gets her, he says, I found you on the internet. I want to buy a carriage home in Somerset Run. It's a particular neighborhood that we've got 25% market share. And the guy did a contract paperless over the internet, never saw the place. I went out and previewed it, sent him a video, sent him a couple pictures, got some carpet issues, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, just came out of attorney review, and that was 5 days ago. We never met the guy. He's moving here from, I don't even know where. She knows more about it than I do, but never met him. And we found you on the internet that you're Somerset Run, you know kind of what's going on in there.
You're the expert. You're the expert. I mean, I can't tell you how impactful that is to be the person. And here's the thing, too, as well, is as an agent, when you're in your wheelhouse, in your comfort zone, and you are sure of every sale that's taken place in their last 2 years, it makes doing business really easy because, Dave, you said it all the time. If there's a skill set you can have that will make you a lot of money in this business, it's pricing. Like, if you are a wizard when it comes to pricing, you will have a great business. And one of the ways to be a wizard about pricing is to stay hyper-local in one marketplace, dominate it, and you know everything that's happening in there, and that pays huge dividends long term.
Nice. Focus.
Here we go. Number 4, local events. Jeremy, the value in being the person that it's a local media company in your small little neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. The newspaper companies haven't picked this up yet. It drives me nuts how they put an article out today, and if you want to see it 3 days later, you have to pay a subscription a lot of times. I don't get it. People aren't going to pay for the information when you can get it somewhere else. And that's another point with your post, with the content on your site. This is not 1980s with the real estate book where you put in your ad, call me for more information, or call me for price or address. If you do that stuff on your blog, you're going to tick people off, and guess what? They will find it somewhere else. they'll go Google it, they'll find it on Zulia, your competitor's site, and instead of them coming to you for your listing, they're going to go to the company down the hall. So instead, give all the information. People want to find somebody they can trust to work with. So give them the content, give them the stuff, and you'll get there. So events, okay? There's so many easy things to do. Easter just came by a little while ago. People want to know, where can I go to a good community Easter egg hunt? So why not get the information, look around, go to the local Facebook pages, find the places that are doing them, put it all in one post and say, here's where all of the local Easter egg hunts are happening and the dates that they're happening with time. It'll take you 15 minutes to do it. Put it all in a little list and send it out. Okay, we're getting now, what's the next big holiday coming up? Let's see, July 4th. Well, Memorial Day first down here, right? So where's good places to go to hear live music for Memorial Day? Our area, we're not the place to go for Memorial Day, just saying. But that's all another story. After that, 4th of July. Where to go see good fireworks. My lady who's in Gainesville, Florida, that post on fireworks every year when she does it usually gets 4 times the amount of traffic than anything else she writes all year round.
Okay, Jeremy, but the argument's going to be, what does Memorial Day or 4th of July fireworks have to do with selling real estate?
You are the neighborhood and local expert. You're giving people information that they're looking for and wanting. If you can share that, they will then come back to you to find more information. And at the same time, they see, hey, they're a realtor, and they'll remember you by giving them the value that they want. You have to think of it like this. People buy a home, what, once every 5 to 7 years. So what do we do to keep them retained, keep them interested in you and remembering you during the time? That's where the community information does. At the same time, what that does is the people running the event gets to know you as well. And they become your fan because you're helping them by paying it forward.
I told you that Mountain Dew was no good for you.
I love it. By the way, Jim, I forget his name. He was on the show. He was from Ipsos SMX. That's gonna bug me. But really, what he talks about is staying relevant in between the homes that you buy and sell. I mean, it's one thing to attract new business, but that blog post. And here's the thing too as well. If you write that blog post, and I know what Facebook pages are like out here, you're going to have people sharing it, sharing it, sharing it, sharing it. All drives back to your blog. It just keeps you. It's like a bus bench ad. It's just Jeremy Blanton, Remax agent. That's all it's reinforcing. It's just keeping relevant in between the homes that you help people buy and sell. And there's a huge value in that. And it's like you say, it's super, super, super simple to do.
Out in, I'll share a good example. If you guys want to see a great example, a guy by the name of Jason, he's out in Fresno, California. His website is fresyes.com. Instead of Fresno, he's Fresyes. Just go over and look at his site. He has so much information about what's happening. He actually has writers that are on, like a staff for him, that share stuff all the time. He's getting thousands and thousands and thousands of likes on his stuff. One guy, all he does is goes to the high school games and writes about what happened at the high school football game that week. That's all he does. He takes a picture and writes it. Another one who writes about local business. Another one who writes. All these people together share stuff, and he has created this massive community. I think he's like 18 or 20,000 fans on his Facebook page, but all he's doing with that is driving all of them back to that website. Phenomenal example of what we're talking about here.
And here's does it convert into business? Like, that's all people care about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He sold, what was it? I think it was 180 homes last year.
So it's converting.
He did. I think he did like 80. I think I was told like 82 million last year.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Here's and our last point, because we're already on hour 5, and thank you for everyone that's still watching and staying on. There was 2 bonus points, but we're only going to get to number 5. I always talk about the value of when I'm talking about video, about distribution, about the way to get it out. And we actually just were in the studio yesterday filming our most recent episode of Fraser Valley 5. And basically what we do is we pick a topic. This episode was the 5 best Caesars. Do you guys know what a Caesar is?
No.
Caesar's Palace?
No, the drink. The drink.
Oh no.
No, see, it's a very Canadian thing. A Caesar is clamato juice, which is clam, then clam nectar from the sea animal, and tomato juice. And anyways, it's a very, very, very popular drink. And so there's a lot of variations on it. So we did our top 5 Caesars in the Fraser Valley. And so we highlighted 5 cool restaurants that have the best Caesars. And when we put that out, each one of those restaurants are going to put our video that's branded Greenbacks all over it on their Facebook pages, in their blogs. It is a great way of distribution. It's an amazing way of distribution. So talk about the value of highlighting local charities and local events in your blog posts.
Just for the record, it sounds like a Bloody Mary.
It is like a Bloody Mary, but with clown. You're right. It is like a Bloody Mary.
Anyway, now that I've hold on a minute, open my mouth a little bit.
Very good.
I don't know. So I'm a big, huge fan of paying it forward. I think it has tremendous value, and a lot of people don't do it. It's like if I go into a group and it's a referral group and everybody's in there saying, "Hi, I'm so-and-so from here, hire me," I'll go into the group and say, "Listen, yeah, I work in Myrtle Beach, but here's some people that, and if you need somebody in Charlotte, call Lee Brown. If you need somebody up here in Jersey, call Dave, call Michael here." That's just me. That's the way I prefer to do business. It has a lot of value. There's a local Facebook group for my neighborhood. I said the other day to them, "Hey, would you guys like me to just give you the market reports of what sold?" They love it. They're eating it up. I had 2 people call me from it in less than an hour, and all I did was screenshots. But anyway, so with these local businesses, here in Myrtle Beach, and this is I'll kind of hit the bonus one as well. So people are saying, where do I get ideas for content? For me, I always look at my inbox or what I get asked all the time when I'm in the car with that buyer. And so for me, our area, they ask, where's a good place to go for this to eat? Where's a good place for that? In Myrtle Beach, there's enough restaurants you can eat 3 meals a day for a year and a half and never eat the same place twice. Okay? There's that many. So I was getting asked, where's a good place for that? So a few years ago, I went to a Brazilian steakhouse here, and it was my first time ever dealing with one of these. And actually, it wasn't my first time this trip that I did the blog post, but it's the first Brazilian steakhouse I ever visited. And on Sundays, they were running half-price Sundays during off-season to try to attract the locals in. Well, it worked. We had a 3.5-hour wait to sit down to eat, okay? So now, I don't know about you, Michael or Dave, and I only experienced this once I met my wife, but this thing called hangryism, you ever heard of hangry?
No.
When
you're angry when you're hungry?
When you get too hungry that you turn angry. Yeah. And so I never knew this until I met her, but there are people out there that suffer from this disease. It is a disease. And all it takes is one bite of food getting in the mouth, and they go back. My wife is one of the sweetest, easygoing people you will ever meet in your life, okay? But when she gets hungry and it turns to hangry, I just stop and step back and say, "Honey," kind of like the Snickers commercials, right? Yeah. That's the way it is with her. But anyway, so this place, 3-hour wait. So people are getting hangry, and they're, "Why is he?" And there are people yelling at the hostess and them because, "Why is the table of 2 being set before their party of 18? Type of thing. So anyway, we go in, we finally get our table, we sit down. To give you an idea of how long it was, our oldest was at the time a baby. We were able to go home, we lived 15 minutes away, change her out of her Sunday dress clothes into a new outfit, change the diaper, put her back in the little carrier, pick her up to walk outside. "Honey, you smell something?" One of those you have to change the whole outfit again type of deals. Bath, all that. Get back in, go back, we still wait 40 minutes, right? So we finally sit down to eat. The service was phenomenal. Great, on time, right there. Drinks never got empty. Very attentive to us. The general manager comes by, even stops the table. "Oh, your daughter is so cute. She's so beautiful, yada, yada, yada," right? So as we're walking out the door, my wife says to me, "Jeremy, this was such a good experience. You should blog about this on your site." And this light bulb went off. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I should. So at the time, I whipped out my BlackBerry Curve with the rollerball.
Right.
And the 1.3 megapixel camera, took a shot of the outside of the building and went home. That night, about 10 o'clock at night, I wrote a simple blog post. The blog post was not about me being a realtor, being the #1 real estate agent, the best in the world, hire me, I'm the greatest to sell this, I sold this in the last 3 weeks. Nothing. It was all about the restaurant. It had their contact information, what their menu's like, what our experience was like, everything about them. Now, that's where a lot of people stop, okay? They do that and they stop. But take it a step further. Go to that company's website. Find the little Contact Me button up in the right corner. Hit it and send them a simple email. And so I sent a simple email and just saying, "No, you guys probably get a lot of negative feedback through here in comments. Wanted you to know not everyone feels that way. Take a minute to read what I had to say, and a link. Send. Okay? I didn't realize that this company was part of a franchise of about 25 to 30 restaurants all across the Southeast. So go to bed, wake up in the morning, check my email about 10:30, and there's 2 or 3 emails in there. And one of them is from the CEO of this big corporation. And in his email, it simply said, Jeremy, thanks so much for taking the time to write about us. We really appreciate it. By the way, we can tell from your blog you're in real estate. We're constantly transferring our management in and out of the area, and they're always asking who to go to for their real estate needs. We now know who to send them to. Thanks, and have a great day. Boom. Okay? In addition, they took that link and went over to their Facebook page, and they shared it out to their 15,000 fans on their page. Okay? They all of a sudden become marketing for me. Think of it this way. You walk into any business in town, Dave, and you walk in the door, go into your favorite dry cleaner or florist, or just pick some random business, walk in the door with a business card. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? Here's my card. Give me a call. They're going to say to you, Dave, get out the door right now. Did you miss the no soliciting? Get out of here, and as you walk out the door, shred your card and throw it in the trash. But if you walk in the door and you say, you know what, I have this little blog where I like to showcase some of the favorite things to do around town. Do you have a couple minutes that I could sit down and interview you to share on my site? I'll send you a link when I'm done. That business owner is going to sit down with you, give you as much time as you want, and share everything in the world for you. And then when you send them the link, they're going to turn around and become your marketer, putting it out to their Twitter account, to their Facebook, to their Pinterest, to wherever they've got stuff, and they're pushing you. They took my post. Not only did they share it on their page, they forwarded it on to the other 25 restaurants in their whole conglomerate thing, and said, listen, check out what we got, na-na-na-na-na. At the same time, they also were saying, keep an eye out if you see this guy come in, you're next, on the list type of thing. And so I got instant recognition with all of these companies across the Southeast. And that post, 15 minutes to write, if even. The picture, I pulled off my phone and stuck it on. It was easy and had great results. So, blogging, I think, too many overcomplicated at times. Make it simple, make it easy, and it will bring. Also, those business posts and charity posts, they're going to give you the retention that we were just talking about as well. People will go there and read it. So I'll do stuff on the best mini golf places around town, restaurants, whatever.
Absolutely, and this goes back to your very first thing, the stats here, Jeremy, talking about backlinks. I mean, that's where they really come from is, once you create a video, once you write a blog post, it really comes down to distribution. And so when you're highlighting other businesses, you really have built-in distribution there. I mean, our like I said, the Fraser Valley 5, we highlight 5 different businesses, plus we have 4 different sponsors for the show. There's 9 businesses that will share it out. We're going to reach tens of thousands of people for really 45 minutes worth of work. It's way more powerful marketing than putting an ad in the newspaper. Way more powerful marketing, in my opinion, and it really costs you next to nothing. Dave, you've done that. You've highlighted local businesses, right? And it's a pretty powerful thing when you shine the light on somebody else opposed to shining the light on you.
Absolutely. We just actually hired a videographer, and I'm going to go around with him on May 9th. We're going to go to like 20 different businesses in a day and get all this stuff, and we're going to kind of put it out little at a time.
That's super powerful, and anyone could do that. You go to a local college, find a videographer. I think it's super smart, whether you do it professionally like that or do it with a cell phone.
We went to the high school to a videographer class and found a kid that's in his senior year. He's had 4 years of it. Phenomenal stuff, and he's willing to do it for free.
Nice. Free 99, my favorite price.
That's better than Fiverr. Awesome. Well, you know what, Jeremy, I can't thank you enough. I'm going to get to Dave and his takeaway in a second, but before we do that, Jeremy, plug how people can get a hold of you down there in South Carolina. Yes.
Yeah. The easiest way to get me, you can get me on Twitter at Jeremy Blanton. You can find me on Facebook. The easiest thing, really, and I don't say this just to say it, just go to Google, type in Jeremy Blanton, you'll find me. If you want to send me some referrals here, hey, I'll take them. Whatever you need help with. If you have questions, shoot me a tweet, shoot me a message on Facebook, or email me, whatever. You'll find it's not hard to find me. Google knows how to get me.
You certainly do. And you've been always so kind with your time, Jeremy. You've given me a ton of advice. really smart guy, and he got a big heart, and I really, really appreciate it. Dave, takeaway from today's show.
Well, if blogging scares you, okay, or it's just something that you don't know a lot about, I think just keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's sort of the message I got. Personal stories, market reports, it's really not hard to do based on what the advice Jeremy gave us, and I just think try it out. I have my own form of blogging. I just may branch out to another little thing here.
Well, obviously you're blogging. You're going to videographer. You're going to do a bunch of videos in a day. I mean, that's blogging, because you got to put that content out there somewhere. Thank you so much. Before we get to our announcement on our next show, we're going to take next week off, and viewers, stick around for this just a little bit and do me a favor. I've never asked anything from our viewers, Dave. We've never sold anything, and I want to get real personal for a second. Whether you believe in karma or the law of reciprocity or positive energy or God, I don't really care. Back on episode 27 of the show, we had a guy came on with Raj Gazar named Brad Patterson. And that was a great show about high-end video. He's a great videographer and a really smart, awesome dude. What a lot of viewers might not know is Brad Patterson is my brother-in-law, and he's a great man, and I love him to death. I don't want to get into too much personally, but whether you're a God person or a positive energy person. If I've never asked anything for you, but I've given you 2 years worth of the show, send some positive vibes out to my brother-in-law and his family right now. He could certainly use it, and hate to damper it on the end of it, but just do that for me for a favor, and I would appreciate it. So next week, unscheduled. I've canceled the show, Dave, and I'm going to take a week off and be close to family. So I appreciate it. On that real positive note, thank you all for watching. On that positive note, if you've got any referrals heading out to the East Coast of the United States, get a hold of Dave. He'll put you in the hands of the right RE/MAX agent. Any referrals coming out to the West Coast of Canada, get a hold of me. He'll put your hands on the right RE/MAX agent. And as Melanie Galley of RE/MAX Murray wants to say in every show, tell 5 other RE/MAX agents about the show. It allows us to reach out to amazing people, friends like Jeremy Blanton, who will give us an hour and 17 minutes of his time. I appreciate it. Longest show in quite a while, and we didn't even get to bonus ones. Jeremy, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to take 2 weeks off. That brings us back on, I think, May 15th, somewhere in there. And we'll get things rolling. I know it's a crazy spring market for a lot of you, but I really, really do appreciate everyone watching. Jeremy, thank you so much. You're awesome. I appreciate it. Dave, go Mets. I think the Mets may pay you to stay at home and watch games from your couch. Yeah.
Give me back my money, and then they're sending me a check. I think that's the way it is.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you all in a couple weeks.